Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to Midnight Run here on the Inside Edge Network and across our socials at Inside Edge Net. My name's AA Anthony Alford. It's great to have you with us. And I know the name of the show is Midnight Run, and today's show is going to be a full sprint. We got a ton of things to get to here on this program, reacting to the Cavs. They're about to face the New York Knicks. We'll talk about that. Also, later this hour, if you did not see it earlier today, my interview with Cavs radio voice Tim Alcorn, we'll play that for you coming up at 12:40. So you do not want to go anywhere with that. It's just a ton of stuff. Honestly, we have enough material to do 3 hours, but we're only constrained to one hour. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff that might be on the cutting room floor. We're not going to have time to get to it, but we will at some point. Eli and Chad, I listened to Primetime. They had an interesting conversation about Stephen Kwan. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to have time to get to it tonight, but go back to Primetime and take a listen. It was near the end of their show, but it was some things to think about. So there's a ton of stuff to get to here on this show. Speaking of which, my producers, Eli Moon, and you know him, of course, at Primetime, the Golden Child. He is here with us. You'll see him throughout the show. I do want to quickly react to Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, which took place tonight. And it was I'm going to use a old school reference, a 15-round heavyweight fight between the San Antonio Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Spurs winning in double overtime. And ladies and gentlemen, I've seen enough. Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the NBA. Listen. I know I don't take much stock into who wins the MVP award in the regular season. I know what it is. A lot of it is you don't want to necessarily vote for the best player. It's the most valuable, outstanding player throughout the year. I'm not here to get into what's the definition of MVP talk. What I saw tonight, I saw one of the greatest playoff performances I've ever seen in my lifetime. And now, those of you who are older than 34 years old, I understand Michael Jordan exists. I get that. I'm not here to argue that. I'm saying in my lifetime, what Wemby did tonight against a OKC team, they're going to deliver. They're going to deliver haymaker shots after haymaker shots. But the Spurs kept their pace going. And Wemby is a cheat code for any team that has him. In terms of stats, 41 points, 14 of 25 from the field, 24 rebounds for Wemby. He also had 3 blocks, but 41 points and 24 rebounds. And he is a literal, I'm watching him and I'm watching Stephon Castle out there on the floor and Harper. I'm watching these guys, and there's just, you can lob it up to Wemby. Wemby made a 38-footer three-pointer. He didn't break a sweat. I got more of a workout from my interview with Tim Alcorn than Victor Wembanyama hitting that three-pointer. I mean, that was unbelievable what he's able to do, and that's just Wemby. I mean, you're talking about we talk about all the time, even with Giannis, like, okay, who's the unicorn, right? That's a unicorn. Wemby is a unicorn, and Wemby is getting stronger. Like remember the one criticism about Wemby coming into the very minor criticism of Wemby coming in, a little bit of a two-pick. He's gained some muscle, and he's the biggest player on the floor, and he can lob up, alley-oops without barely jumping off the ground, and he can run the floor, and he can shoot three-pointers. If you created a player, and your creative player was Wemby, you would be deemed cheating in 2K. I mean, this is amazing. But I do want to point out one other big thing as we transition over to Cavs Knicks. Again, excellent game. Excellent game. Spurs, Thunder, lived up to all the hype. I thought Mike Tirico on commentary was fantastic, as he always. I don't think Mike Tirico's done a bad job on commentary on anything in like 20 years. He was great. And that was just an unbelievable game. Again, 122, 115. Hopefully that goes the distance. Hopefully that goes 6-7 games. Even just as a basketball fan, that's going to be phenomenal to watch. But I do want to piggy from that to Cavaliers Knicks for a brief moment. Cavs Knicks, Spurs kind of in a similar situation as the Cavs. Thunder, OKC got off to a slow start. OKC, and Tirico brought this up. OKC, this was the longest time. OKC, because they're better than everybody else. Can I admit, Eli, I got to share something with you. Come on the screen, buddy.
What's happening, Double A?
What's up, man? I gotta admit something. I'm sorry to be petty. I know it's Monday, now Tuesday, but we talked over the phone. You might actually agree with me, not to spoil the lead here.
Okay.
I can't stand OKC. I'm sorry. I can't stand them. And it's just me being petty. And it has nothing to do with actual basketball abilities. There's a strong chance they could win the title again. I just can't stand them.
Okay.
I think they're a cute story. They do things the right way, blah, 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 blah. SGA flops more than anybody. The whole, we don't, we stand until our guy makes the first shot. Good. I'm glad y'all retired because y'all took forever to make a shot.
Yeah.
And the whole, when we win a game, all of my teammates have to stand behind the player that's being interviewed to distract the reporters and stuff. No. I'm cool on OKC. I'm cool. I hope San Antonio whoops their ass. I'm cool on OKC.
I get it. I understand, Double A. I completely understand. San Antonio, they first off, I got a lot of ties in San Antonio, got a lot of peeps out there that I consider family, I rock with on the music side of things, and they are rooting for those Spurs. I'll tell you, I tell the story, Double A, about when I went to San Antonio back in March for the Thriller in Texas festival we put on, and I was out in the club, and I don't drink anymore, but I was still vibing, having a good time, and there was a guy in a Spurs jersey, a Victor Wembanyama jersey, and I go, man, I really hope it's my Cavs against your Spurs. And he goes, I don't know anything about the Cavaliers. It's go Spurs go. They eat, sleep, breathe, repeat. San Antonio Spurs down there. You got to think that's the only major sports team we've talked about on this show here about whether San Antonio is deserving. I think they are. I think a lot of people think they are deserving of more sports teams, and they go crazy for the Spurs. I think this was an away game, right? This is incredible for the Spurs, and I understand the OKC fatigue. I get it. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wins his second MVP, back-to-back MVPs. And I got a lot to say about that tomorrow on primetime. We didn't get to it today. I got a lot to say.
Apparently, Shams learned that while he was at brunch.
Yeah, apparently so.
Boy,
you know,
there's some smoke between Shams and ESPN versus Prime Video. Prime Video was not happy about that.
Yeah, you know, and I can understand why. I got a lot to unpack about that tomorrow. It's almost going to be like my version of Unpack Wednesdays on a Tuesday on primetime. But all that being said, the lead was stolen from you tonight by Victor Wembanyama doing what he did tonight. I mean, is there a better player? You mentioned it tonight already in the opening. I mean, is there a better player right now playing basketball in the NBA or any league than Victor Wembanyama? The talks were, okay, he's going to be, like you said, is he going to be able to be built enough to play and withstand some of these hits? Well, he's taking the hits, he's giving them back, and he's putting on some of the coolest stat lines we've seen in NBA history, or at least quite some time, Double-A. So I can understand the OKC fatigue, bro. It's like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, brother. Let's talk here for a moment. You are supposed to be the best player in the league. That's what MVP means, right? I guess it depends on the day. But that's what that's supposed to mean. I can name you 4 to 5 guys on that team that do just as much of an impact as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I can't name you one guy on the San Antonio Spurs that do what Victor Wembanyama does. And I think that's what it is. We're seeing a team that is so well-rounded, Double-A, that is, okay, they can put out 8 to 12 guys on the roster that can make an impact. Alex Caruso had 30-plus for him tonight. But you look at the Spurs. They go where Wemby goes. And tonight Wemby said, we're going to put belt to ass in OKC, and we're taking this win. And now all the cards are in San Antonio's favor, right? They were 3-1 against OKC this regular season. So they already know they can beat these guys. And I get it, playoff setting. But Double-A, don't worry, is all I'm saying. Your OKC fatigue might come to an end sooner than later. I'll tell you this. I didn't get to make a prediction before the series. I'll still stand on it. Spurs in 5. They are going to put belt to ass to OKC. They might lose game 2. They will not lose in San Antonio, and they're coming back. They're winning one more in OKC. They are.
That's a huge statement. We'll see. Let's and that's the cool thing. The Spurs, a little bit more. They've been playing, stealing game 1. That's huge. And the Cavaliers have an opportunity to steal game 1 from the Knicks in New York City. We're gonna find out if do you need the rest, or do you just keep rolling? Now, here's the funny thing. People don't believe in the Cavs. Not here locally, nationally. People don't believe. We got a series of clips we're going to play for you because people do not believe. Again, Tim Alcorn coming up at 12:40. Okay, so let's start with Jay Williams. Jay Williams, he just put it on the table. He didn't even bury the lead. Jay Williams, courtesy of ESPN.
I'm going to go Knicks in 5. And I know that may sound absurd to say, but when you think
I don't think it sounds absurd.
When you think about the way Cavs had the matchup against Detroit, you saw everything load up towards Cade Cunningham all the time. They tried to move Cade Cunningham off the ball a little bit and actually worked a little bit to their favor. Now going against this iteration of this Knicks team, when Karl-Anthony Towns can spread Evan Mobley out, James Harden and Donovan Mitchell guarding off the ball is very different than them guarding on the ball. Don't forget, James Harden was brought there in exchange for Darius Garland to defend against bigger guards on the ball. Off the ball, sometimes they get caught asleep, and that duality of moving without the ball is where the Knicks have a huge advantage.
So that was Jay Williams, ESPN Get Up. So let's add on to that. Jeff Teague. He is on the Club 520 podcast. It's on the Volume podcasting network. He says the Cavaliers have nobody, and I mean nobody, that can guard Jalen Brunson.
Him bad, bro.
They don't got nobody that can guard Jalen Brunson. Yeah. This shit over with. And I want James Harden to get to the finals, definitely. But ain't nobody on that team guard Jalen Brunson. They don't have nobody.
Yeah. Think they'll play Keon Ellis?
Man, it don't matter. They can go get Perry Ellis. It don't matter who the hell.
Damn, shout out to Perry Ellis.
Shit, Dale Ellis. This shit over. They ain't got nobody to guard him. Nobody. Donovan Mitchell can't guard him. They gonna put Matt Strus on him? No way.
Christmas.
They gonna put Dean Wade? No way.
Yeah, because they got bodies to throw at Donovan.
It's a different.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared about
that's
too.
That's a difference. I don't know, bro. I think it'll be a 6-game series.
Jalen Brunson a different animal than Cade Cunningham because he got other weapons. Like when he get in that pick and roll with Cat, he can pass it back to Cat. Cat gonna hit a three.
For sure.
Mitchell gonna roll for the lob. Like they got different threats. And that motherfucker is ran to perfection for him. Like it's gonna be a different animal, man.
Evan Mobley.
Hopefully the Cavaliers can sign Perry Ellis before tomorrow night's game. Now, let me add on to this. Richard Jefferson, former Cavalier. I understand he has to be impartial because national network guy. But we know what he did here 10 years ago, along with that 2016 Cavs team. But he had this to say on the Road Tripping podcast in terms of the dangerous matchups the Cavaliers could be facing against New York.
Have a 1 through 3, and then is it James Harden? He's had some moments, ups and downs. Is it Jaren Allen, Mobley? Like who is it on that side? That's where it's hard to kind of differentiate. Like whoever has the most. If it's Mikal Bridges and if Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby outperform Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, that's the end of the series. That's the end of the series. If you were to say it would go between those four, who do you pick, Channing, between Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby? Whichever pair wins the series. Going into this postseason right now, you go look at Bridges and OG's numbers. They have been consistently more impactful on both ends of the floor, offensively more efficient. So if they maintain that play.
Yeah, I think Brunson's going to be an issue. To be honest, I think Jalen Brunson's going to give them the business. I just don't think I just think they don't really have, like, Dean Wade can work on when one guy is centered on the offense, but the Knicks have 5 playmakers, right? If you look at Toronto, their offense was solid, but not great. Detroit, their offense was great at times, but then you look at the Knicks offense is immaculate. And so what do you do if Jalen Brunson's going off? Oh, we have to double team him. Now you're leaving Cat, OG, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, whoever else open. It's like, to me, I don't know if the Cavs defense is up to this challenge. I'd have to see it after a game or two.
Okay, so that's some good points there. But the point is this. The Cavaliers, while we can celebrate, and we have been celebrating the Cavaliers beating Detroit, putting the beat down on Detroit in Game 7, and they have arrived. Not a lot of people are giving the Cavs the respect of being here in the conference finals, unlike the OKC San Antonio series. When I talked to Tim Alcorn earlier today, I mentioned to him, like, hey, the national media is basically penciling in the New York Knicks into the NBA Finals. Basically, as long as they don't play with their food, they're going. But Tim brought up a great point, great points about, a ton of things here. And I want you guys to think about this as we go to break. When you hear all those clips and you're going to watch all the national shows, once they talk Cavs Knicks, and we know there's a certain ESPN personality who portrays himself as the biggest Knicks fan of all time. He just happens to be the highest paid individual to work for that network. They're going to hype up this Knicks team and basically say they're going to wipe the floor for the Cavaliers. The Cavs have no chance, no chance, no chance. But as we go to break, we're going to play for you a cut for my interview with Tim Alcorn. Again, you'll see the full interview coming up at 12:40. But I want Cavs fans to think about this as we go to break here on Midnight Run. If all of that expectation is there, what happens if the Cavaliers steal game 1 in New York City? What happens if the Knicks actually stumble out of the gate? My assumption, and Tim Alcorn, I believe, agrees, that all the pressure is on the New York Knicks. The mental toughness of the Cavaliers, as much as we're celebrating, and we should, celebrating what they did against Detroit, the mental toughness is going to come back into the spotlight. How do you think this team, the vibes, being around the team today, how do you think they're handling the national media basically saying, hey, nice to have you here, but New York's going to the finals?
Well, a lot to unpack there. So first of all, I don't think the guys really pay a lot of attention to the national media and what everybody's saying. It's a pretty tight-knit group in that locker room and on the buses and here in the hotel. They believe in one another. And so they're not really concerned about what other folks are saying, especially on the national level. They believe in themselves. Secondly, Anthony, to me personally, hey, count the Cavs out. Do it at your own risk, because the Cavaliers just took out the number 1 seed in Detroit that had won 60 games, beat them twice at their place. So, again, if you want to count the Cavs out, do that. I do think all the pressure is now on New York. The pressure is on New York. Their own owner came out and said this is an NBA Finals or bust season for this team. So he put all that pressure on them. Now they even have home court advantage in the NBA Finals with Detroit being knocked out, or excuse me, Eastern Conference Finals, in the Eastern Conference Finals. So you've now even put more pressure on them. Everybody, as you said, is expecting them to win. Cavs, to me, are playing on house money. You finally got over that hurdle. You got over not being able to get to the conference finals. Well, now you're here. Nobody's expecting you to win. All the pressure's on the Knicks. Just go out and play.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Hey guys, what a show we had today. A lot breaking down the Cavaliers, obviously getting the job done. We'll have keys to the game tomorrow as far as what Cleveland needs to do to get off on the right foot in the series against the Knicks. It's going to be a challenge. We also talked about the stuff going on with the city of Cleveland and Brook Park, the IX Center. That land looks like it's going to be taken care of. Any updates, of course, we'll keep you guys in the know about that. And a lot more news and notes going on in Northeast Ohio. There's always something going on. Make sure you tune in 5 o'clock tomorrow right here on the Inside Edge Network.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
Welcome back to Midnight Run here on the Inside Edge Network. Again, like and subscribe at Inside Edge Net across all of our socials. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatever one I missed, maybe Reddit. I think we had something. We were doing some inventory today, and we completely forgot we made a Reddit page. So we're on there too. All Twitch. Make sure you go there as well. InsideEdgeNetwork.com. You want to go there. All of our show information, schedule information. We got live programs 7 days a week here on the Inside Edge Network. So a lot of great stuff, a lot of cool daily programming, including Unfiltered with Kyle Cordell, Inside Edge Primetime with Eli Moon and Chad Bryant. This show, Midnight Run, Monday through Fridays, and then a ton of great programming we'll have for you. Also, we have a merch store as well. Remember, we are looking for 10 items sold on the merch store. A lot of polos, glasses, a ton of great stuff. If we do that, Kyle will give Eli a haircut live on Unfiltered. So the promo code is Insider, 20% off of your order. Programming note, tomorrow, big day of programming, again, Unfiltered at 5 o'clock. I'm going to have another special primetime edition of Midnight Run. We'll do, double show, kind of like what we're doing today. 7 o'clock, I'm going to have an interview with G. Bush. I'm sorry, I got to use his government name for promotion. Garrett Bush. We'll talk with him. G. Bush had an exclusive with Deion Sanders, talking about Shedeur Sanders, talking about Todd Monken, talking about a ton of things in relation to Shedeur. A very much eye-opening interview. So 7 o'clock tomorrow, we'll have that for you. That will be followed by conversations with Eli Moon. And then after the game, Eli, Chad, and Kyle will have immediate reaction with Cavaliers and Knicks. and then I'll be on at midnight with Midnight Run. So huge day of programming tomorrow here on the Inside Edge Network. Jarrett Allen, to me, is that dude. I know Donovan Mitchell gets all the headlines, and he should. Evan Mobley is the unicorn that we're kind of wishing he could become in light of Giannis, and really, he's not touching Wemby. Wemby is such a special player. That's a whole different planet right now. But Evan Mobley gets the headlines, and of course James Harden gets the headlines. But this team, we've seen it in the regular season, and we've seen it in 2 consecutive Game 7s. When Jarrett Allen has an outstanding performance, offensively and defensively, this team not only wins, they dominate. And we're talking about, some of the regular season performances. I referenced those random Sunday nights where he has 40 points, things like that. So, and Tim Alcorn had this to say about the importance of Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen in particular, I can't get him off my mind for what he has done, not just last night in the Game 7 against Detroit, but the Game 7 against Toronto in the first round. Jarrett Allen, to me, has been really special. What do you think overall from what you have seen from him in particular?
Yeah, Anthony, you referenced the 2 Game 7s. Maybe we should have Jared wear a 7 on his uniform rather than 31. I don't know if he'd give up 31, but man, has his light shone brightly in those 2 Game 7 performances. And he was just a dominant force in that low block last night. And as you said, whether it was the result of a text exchange with Dan Gilbert or a little bit of pep talk, or who knows, maybe Jared just looked inward. Whatever the case may be, he came out with a ferocity and an intensity in Game 7 against Detroit, which he had shown in the Game 7 against Toronto, that when he's playing at that level, he is hard to stop. He's just a force offensively and defensively. He wasn't going to let Detroit get offensive rebounds. He was just a presence in that low block at both ends of the floor. And that's all-star Jarrett Allen. And obviously the Cavaliers are going to need that type of performance against the Knicks in this upcoming series. But he was very, very special in Game 7 against the Pistons.
And again, my full interview with Tim Alcorn coming up at 12:40, about 5.5 minutes from right now. 23 points from Jarrett Allen from Game 7. Again, Cavaliers demolished the Pistons 125-94. 7 rebounds, but his presence, right? Him being able to pretty much establish the paint. And this is going to be a series coming up here with the Cavs and Knicks. You're going to Richard Jefferson might be right, okay? He probably is right that, the backcourt's going to be challenged. So you're going to need – this is the type of series where you're going to need Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley to pull their weight and then some in this series. And Jarrett Allen, I think, is up to the task. And this is a full circle moment for Jarrett Allen. He was the one who said in the end of the season presser after the 2023 playoffs where the Cavs were eliminated by the Knicks in Game 5, the lights were too bright. This is an opportunity for Jarrett Allen to erase all doubt, erase it all. Sometimes in order to, as one person may say, finish the story, sometimes you got to go through the final boss to finish that story. That final boss who initially you couldn't beat, put the beat down on. Now this is your chance. It's like beating your dad in Madden finally after he whooped you all those years. You got to get through the people you need to get through to elevate yourself and get to where you want to be with the finals. Now, again, if you beat the Knicks, job ain't done because you got OKC or San Antonio on its way in the NBA Finals. Again, we'll have coverage of the Eastern Conference Finals from pregame to postgame right here on the Inside Edge Network. When we come back, my full sit-down interview with the Cavs radio voice, Tim Alcorn. And again, publicly, myself, Eli, Chad, our entire network, we want to thank Tim Alcorn for coming on our shows each and every single playoff round, starting with the preview show. He was with Eli and Chad during round 2, and now he sits down with me next, right here on the Inside Edge Network.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick. With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh. I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife, Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
All right. And welcome on in. This is the Inside Edge Network, our special, and we have this man has not slept. He's about to work his 15th playoff game of this postseason, and we're only talking about the conference finals. The radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tim Alcorn, joins me, Anthony Alford. Tim, I got to tell you, we'll talk about the Eastern Finals in just a second, but last night was unbelievable.
I'll tell you what, I don't know who had a complete destruction of the Detroit Pistons on their bingo card going into Game 7 for the Cavaliers, but it was a performance to behold. It really was special, especially coming off that real tough loss in Game 6. Hopes were so high that the Cavaliers would close it out at home before a roaring Rocket Arena crowd, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. But kudos to the Cavs coaching staff and to the players, obviously. They put that in the rearview mirror very, very quickly and took a business-like attitude into the game on Sunday night, and obviously just performed at such an elite level that Detroit really never had an opportunity. They really didn't. The Cavs just stepped on them from the get-go and never looked back.
Yeah, so Tim, let's talk a little bit about Game 7 and that mindset going into Game 7. We've heard some of the stories from the outside, you know, the I don't know now, the famous dinner conversation with Dan Gilbert and Kenny Atkinson, Dan Gilbert talking with Jared Allen. Jared Allen in particular, I can't get him off my mind for what he has done, not just last night in the Game 7 against Detroit, but the Game 7 against Toronto in the first round. Jared Allen, to me, has been really special. What do you think overall from what you have seen from him in particular?
Yeah, Anthony, you referenced the 2 Game 7s. Maybe we should have Jared wear a 7 on his uniform rather than 31. I don't know if he'd give up 31, but man, has his light shone brightly in those 2 Game 7 performances. And he was just a dominant force in that low block last night. And as you said, whether it was the result of a text exchange with Dan Gilbert or a little bit of pep talk, or who knows, maybe Jared just looked inward. Whatever the case may be, he came out with a ferocity and an intensity in Game 7 against Detroit, which he had shown in the Game 7 against Toronto, that when he's playing at that level, he is hard to stop. He's just a force offensively and defensively. He wasn't going to let Detroit get offensive rebounds. He was just a presence in that low block at both ends of the floor. And that's all-star Jared Allen. And obviously the Cavaliers are going to need that type of performance against the Knicks in this upcoming series. But he was very, very special in Game 7 against the Pistons.
What about Donovan Mitchell? I mean, you're talking about so much pressure on this young man, and it's hard to believe Donovan Mitchell is still young. I mean, it's still hard to believe he's been in the league for a long time. But I thought he had his most important performance of his career last night. Donovan Mitchell, what was his mindset? What did you see from Spider?
Boy, that's a great way to phrase that. I wish I had used that. Important performance. No, because you're exactly right, Anthony. He did a little bit of everything. I think Donovan certainly the weight was on his shoulders, and he's addressed it. He doesn't shy away from it, that he had never been to the second round of the playoffs in his previous 8 years. So now another opportunity to get there. And yet he didn't come out and try to dominate the game from the get-go. He was the facilitator early on. We talked about Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and getting those guys involved. Donovan was racking up assists early on rather than points. He had 2 3-balls in that first quarter. The one was the half-court shot to close out the period. So in essence, he had the one that was part of an actual designed offensive set. But he got everybody else involved, and he was crashing the boards. And the thing that really impressed me, when you look at that final stat sheet from last night, yeah, he had 26 points. He had eight rebounds, 7 assists, if I'm remembering that right off the top of my head correctly. But I do know I'm remembering correctly, 0 turnovers. He did not turn the ball over one time in the whole game. And when you're talking about he was facilitating and he was driving.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty huge. We might have froze up there a little bit there, Tim. Tim, you still with us? Gotta love StreamYard there for a second. We're transitioning. You know what I blame, Tim? We were talking right before we came on. It was like 50, 60 degrees, and then in a span of 24 hours, it's 90-something degrees. And I don't know if technology can sometimes handle that. Is it that warm in New York right now?
It is. It was very warm in Detroit yesterday. It's very warm in New York. So obviously it's a blanket of warm weather from the Midwest all the way to the East Coast. But after the winter that we've had and the cold, wet spring, I know everybody's a little uncomfortable today, but hey, we'll take it.
No, we'll take it. And excuse me, because I'm sweating a little bit myself. I'm just so excited. I know you guys are too, even, with the Cavs. When we talked right before the playoffs, we talked about, the core 4 only played 7 regular season games together. Healthy, things like that with the addition of James Harden. And we talked about, this rotation, it could be a 9-10-man rotation. Are we at a point now we kind of shorten that rotation up just a little bit? You're kind of seeing, who's the impact players, who's going to get those minutes. What are you seeing in terms of rotations that Kenny Atkinson could be focused on, at least with Detroit, but especially now moving into this series with New York?
Yeah, Anthony, you make a great point there. Number one, the deeper you go into a series, and now the deeper you go into the playoffs, you want your five best players on the floor for as many minutes as they can give you. So for the Cavaliers, that's Harden, Mitchell, Allen, Mobley, and then Strus and Wade become somewhat interchangeable depending upon who Kenny Atkinson is starting in that night's ball game. But say those six are going to get the bulk of the minutes, and then Schroeder and Merrill coming off the bench, and that's going to be about it. And that's not a negative towards Jalen Tyson, Keon Ellis, those type of guys. But with the starters logging more minutes, and then obviously having your top bench players get as many minutes as they can give you, that's going to shorten up that bench rotation. So, and how about, we mentioned Sam Merrill. How about his play last night? I mean, just phenomenal. And he's running around out there with half his teeth rattling around after the charge he took from Asar Thompson. So, I think Kenny Atkinson has settled in on this rotation. Now, every series is different. So if he likes somebody off the bench or likes somebody in a different matchup with New York than we saw against Toronto or Detroit, that may shift things around a little bit. But I think for the most part, he has settled in on these 8 guys.
Let's talk about New York. And again, we're here with the radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tim Alcorn. You can hear Tim along with Jim Jones and Serena Winters on the Cavs audioverse here locally, WMMS, WTAM. Every other night, every day you guys are working. It's been real quick about that schedule. Every other day. I know it has to be exhausting for everyone involved, but do you almost look at that as an advantage potentially for the Cavaliers in game one compared to the Knicks, who have not played since last Sunday?
It's going to be a long layoff for the Knicks. And again, they were playing at such a high level after that sweep of Philadelphia. And really, they dismantled Atlanta in the back half of that series. So they have been on such a roll that you're hoping, that long layoff will affect them somewhat and they'll be a little rusty. That would have been the nice advantage to winning Game 6 if the Cavaliers could have gotten Game 6 against Detroit, because, yes, the series would have started Sunday in New York, and then Game 2 would have been Tuesday, but Game 3 still would have been on Saturday. So the
No, that would have been huge. That definitely would have been huge. Hopefully that will be the case there. Real quick, let's get to the series itself. I get sucked in sometimes watching the national shows, Tim. Every national show, they're like,
Don't do it.
I know. Every one of them was like, oh, we don't have anybody to guard Jalen Brunson. They can't guard the wings of the New York Knicks. Cavs can't do this. It's almost a sense of, all right, in the West, that's going to be a battle with OKC and San Antonio. Meanwhile, the national media, they're already writing in the New York Knicks for the NBA Finals. The mental toughness of the Cavaliers, as much as we're celebrating, and we should, celebrating what they did against Detroit, the mental toughness is going to come back into the spotlight. How do you think this team, the vibes, being around the team today, how do you think they're handling the national media basically saying, hey, nice to have you here, but New York's going to the finals?
Well, a lot to unpack there. So first of all, I don't think the guys really pay a lot of attention to the national media and what everybody's saying. It's a pretty tight-knit group in that locker room and on the buses and here in the hotel. They believe in one another. And so they're not really concerned about what other folks are saying, especially on the national level. They believe in themselves. Secondly, Anthony, to me personally, hey, count the Cavs out. Do it at your own risk, because the Cavaliers just took out the number 1 seed in Detroit that had won 60 games, beat them twice at their place. So, again, if you want to count the Cavs out, do that. I do think all the pressure is now on New York. The pressure is on New York. Their own owner came out and said this is an NBA Finals or bust season for this team. So he put all that pressure on them. Now they even have home court advantage in the NBA Finals with Detroit being knocked out, or excuse me, Eastern Conference Finals, in the Eastern Conference Finals. So you've now even put more pressure on them. Everybody, as you said, is expecting them to win. Cavs, to me, are playing on house money. You finally got over that hurdle. You got over not being able to get to the conference finals. Well, now you're here. Nobody's expecting you to win. All the pressure's on the Knicks. Just go out and play. And I think the pressure is now off the Cavaliers. So, listen, we'll see how it plays out. New York, as I mentioned beforehand, playing at an incredible level in postseason basketball. I mean, the last few games against the Hawks, and then they just completely destroyed Philly in 4 straight. So, yeah, New York probably the favorite, as they should be, but don't count the Cavs out. And it was a very business-like attitude after the game last night. Not a lot of celebrating. Yeah, some high fives and some hugs, but I'll tell you what, when we got on that plane and left Detroit last night, everybody was locked in on computers and iPads. They were looking at game film. They were studying the Knicks, getting ready for the Knicks. So they know the mission is not yet accomplished, and there's work to do.
I know we're out of time. I got one more final question for you, Tim, and thank you again for joining us. Tim Alcorn, radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers. One of the greatest stories I've ever seen. Dan Gilbert, these last few games, busing fans and team employees to Detroit. The reports that we heard on the broadcast, 25 buses. How cool is that? And how it? Obviously, Dan Gilbert is committed to the team. That's a stupid question. But the point of Dan Gilbert being fully invested, fully locked in on this playoff run, and doing that, it really showed. And even a game 7 last night, it felt in the fourth quarter, it felt like a Cavs home game. How cool was that with Dan Gilbert?
It's awesome. I'm incredibly blessed to work for an organization and with an organization that really, from the top down, from Dan Gilbert all the way down, has just the experience of working for them as number one at the top of the list. Sure, they want to win, but they want it to be something that the whole organization can embrace. And really, the city of Cleveland and Cavaliers fans are blessed to have Dan Gilbert own this basketball team, because he wanted the players to feel as though they had support in that arena last night. And he wanted to give ticket holders and employees the opportunity to get to that game last night. And Dan Gilbert is certainly a guy that he takes ownership to a different level. It's not just about profit and loss. It's about fan experience. It's about community experience. And I think he had that on full display last night. It was just incredible to hear those chants from the Cavalier fans. It was a lot of fun.
Man, that's fantastic. It's just win or lose like that. That's pretty cool. That's great stuff. All right, Tim, this is fantastic. We're gonna hear you along the Cavs audioverse, along with Jim Jones and Serena Winters. Postseason game number 15.
Hey, keep them coming. Keep them coming. Let's keep this thing rolling. I'm having a blast. And Jim, of course, has announced he's retiring from radio, not from the Cavs, but from the radio side of things. So let's keep Jim working for a little while longer. It's been great to have Serena. So we're fired up. We're ready to call a lot more.
You ready for another game 7?
Sure. Hey, there's been 2 already. Let's do another one.
Tim Alcorn joining us, the radio voice of the Cavaliers. You can hear him along with the entire team starting tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, the tip-off time on the Cavs audioverse. Mike Snyder, my guy. I love Mike Snyder. Love Mike Snyder. He'll be alongside with the pregame, halftime, and postgame. Tim, thanks again very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Anthony.